a cash offer, and that's in our name, Applegate Home Buyers. We buy houses for cash. The structure of that, really, it's that simple. We agree on a price, we agree on a closing date of the seller's desire, and that's what we do. We wire the funds, close it, it's over. The benefit of that is certain circumstance, people have a timeline they need to get out. Or it's an inherited property. They live in the Midwest and we're in Scottsdale, Chandler. Mom and dad have had it for 30 years. They don't know what to do with it and they just want to be done with it. Other times it's the house has been lived in and it's 20, 30 years old. It needs a lot of renovation and we're standing in a construction project now because this house, to bring it to its highest and best value, needed this kind of work, and most homeowners don't have the motivation to do it, the time, the expertise, the funds, and that's the big one. If they don't have the funds to do it, we can do that for them. So it's real convenient is why they'd want to work with us. And we're the buyer. We're not a marketer. We're not a middleman. If you make a deal with us, our word is our bond, we close.
I'd say one of the most common ones would be homeowners will approach us and they'll look up their house on Zillow, for example, and they say, my house is great, and they think their house is great because they've lived there, that's all they know. And so that person thinks, well, I don't want to use a realtor, for example, and have them take 3% of my home sale. I'm just gonna put a sign in the yard and I can sell it myself. Well, a lot of those people end up talking to us 5-6 months later down the road, and they say, hey, my house isn't selling. And we come and meet with them and we can either give them a cash offer or help them be able to sell their house professionally, actually show them what their house is actually worth versus what they perceived it to be. I think that's a big one, is if you're not in the real estate space, it's kind of hard to know exactly what your home's worth, what people are actually looking for. And there's little things, just like homes that are just lived in don't sell as well. Just carpet and paint. Little things like that help a house sell so much more. What are some things that we're currently seeing in the Phoenix metro market, specifically Maricopa County?
The big thing we're seeing, and we've been seeing it really 12 consecutive months, the inventory is rising every month, a couple thousand houses. As of this morning, it was just under 27,000 properties in Maricopa. When we were at the hottest of the hot a couple years ago, it was about 7,000 single family homes. So we've got a lot more product on there. As a result, the days on market is a lot higher.
Yeah.
Currently in Maricopa County, it's just around 70 days, which traditionally, in the history of keeping records, the balanced market's about a 90-day on market. But anybody who's bought or sold a house here in the last 10 years is expecting a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that's because that's what it's been. So it's a lot slower. Really, just in the last month or so, I'm starting to see erosion of pricing.
Yeah.
So if anybody's been tracking Zillow on what they're doing, if they had a $450,000 house last summer, they're probably gonna see like $418,000 on it if they're in Mesa. That kind of stuff is happening. But we are seeing in specific areas in a specific type of house. As you know, we sell them in single days on market. We just sold Splendor and Gilbert, the first person that looked at it, full price offer. And that's because if you're remodeling it to the level of what people are looking for today, you'll probably be the only one that's got that, because everything else, like in that house, it was a 20-year-old house. All the other ones available for sale had the original kitchen in them.
Yeah.
So
redid the whole kitchen.
Exactly. When they're in the right neighborhood at the right price with the right level of construction or cleanup, they sell. If it's old and tired, they'll languish.
I actually really like it when I hear from people who are not real estate experts telling me what they say the market's doing. Interest rates are this, housing prices are up, houses are flying off the market. And I'm looking at them like, well, where do you get your data when you're not in the industry? Specifically my wife, she'll share with me like, this is what people want. And I listen to her like, what you're telling me isn't the expert, it's not the expert information, it's the general population information. Those are our buyers, those are our sellers. So what people are really thinking and what they're talking about out in the real world is not what we're talking about in our little bubble of real estate experts. So I really like the data I get from my wife. That was the kitchen and this was the family room. And so when I looked at it and I saw that small low ceiling kitchen and small short 24-inch uppers, I knew that we would never get to a high ARV. And I told you ARV is after repair value. That's what we have to target when we're flipping houses. What can this house become? So exactly. I looked at where do I get my big grand kitchen, and it wasn't gonna fit. The ceiling wasn't, over there was just too low to start with. So When we looked at, hey, we could blow this out. We know what our setbacks are. We've done this a few times. So if we blew this out, and then where are you gonna put a master? Because those are really great, like secondary bedrooms, en suites, but where are you gonna put a big master? So it just made more sense where there was these 2 little bedrooms that were sitting over here, and they were little, and that's what they were living in. And I was like, no, blow that out, add on, we can create 1 big master bedroom. Yeah, again, you have to target what can the house become, not what is it. And that's truly what happens in every house. If I came to your home, and unless you live in a house that's less than like maybe 20 years old, I probably would walk into your home and you could say, hey, Byron, how do I bring this up to date? And I would be able to say, well, have you considered? And it's little things that you can do to a home. The flipper who says, I'm gonna go put carpet and paint in, that's one level of flipping, and it works at the right houses. But then what else can you do? And that's where, you know, if you follow Pinterest or something and you're looking at it and going, oh, that's so cute, I wish I could do that. Oh, how would I do that in my house? Well, that's what we have to do. We have to say, how do we bring that to your house?
Well, in this area, we happen to be in the heart of Scottsdale Road and Shea. And really what the end customer is looking for here now is a more grand type property, but still in town. And so this house that was built, when it was built, it just had small bedrooms, small kitchen. So we wanted to open this up to bring it to the highest and best value. We did an addition to have a grand kitchen, high uppers, big island, and so on. But one of the big things is it's now a split floor plan where we have the primary bedroom over here. All the other bedrooms where the kids are presumably gonna be, they're all en suites. Every bedroom here has its own bathroom. And somebody who's gonna spend nearly $2 million on a home today, that's what they want. They want walk-in closets, en suite for their children, and a game room, separate living where we can do that. Have your grand space here that's always clean. You got behind the door there, Xbox, whatever, it's over there. So that's really what we looked at here. You know, we could have just spruced it up, painted it, some flooring, things like that. But by taking it to what we would call the highest and best value of this real estate, we're gonna get it to be exceptional.
Well, thanks for coming out to see our project that's going on 75th Street. We're excited to show it to you as it comes along and let you see some progress as we go forward. But thanks for coming to see it today.
Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you can see all of our future projects that we have going on.
Be sure to follow us on social media. We're Applegate Home Buyers.